if you're not willing to do this one thing, you're going to be stuck in your life. You're going to feel like you're not progressing, and you're probably going to blame yourself and feel like you're confused. You don't know why things aren't working out the way you want them to. And you may end up bashing your head against the wall, like I did for a while, if you just can't make yourself do this. One step back, 2 steps forward. It's simple, but it's so powerful. And if you implement it the right way in your life and you take action on it at the right time in your life, and you have to really watch this to understand whether or not this is the right time for you to do that, well, then you're probably going to be caught in the comfort zone, in a place where you're not really growing, you're not expanding, and you may even get fairly demotivated. You may lose some of your passion and your spark, and you may just maybe give up completely. I've seen people do that, and it's pretty sad to watch. And I've been in this position myself, so really this is from the heart, because I've experienced it firsthand, and I've watched plenty of people that I've worked with experience it, and I've taken plenty of people out of this position into growth, so I'm fairly comfortable with what I'm talking about here. You really have to recognize whether or not you have to make a sacrifice at this point in your life so that you can then make progress going forward. And this really is a foreign concept to most of us, because when we think about growth, we think about getting better and better and better and better, and we never think about getting worse. And we think about getting worse as this horrible thing, and that taking a step back, whether it's in revenue in your business, or whether it's by taking a day or 2 away from your significant other, or whether you're just resting a day instead of working out, you just think like, that's bad, right? I'm being lazy. If I have to sacrifice $10,000 or 20 or 30 or even $100,000, that's bad. That money going out of my account, that's negative. But of course, no, it's not necessarily. It depends. You could take a step back into cow shit, and in that case, you're probably going to end up hurting yourself. But sometimes you have to take a step back so that you could let a train fly by and you don't get run over. Sometimes you have to take a step back because if you're not willing to take a step back, you don't have enough momentum to climb over the little tiny obstacle that's ahead of you. Sometimes it can be a big obstacle, and sometimes that figurative step back can be bigger than you want it to be. Look, if you want to scale a business, you'll probably want to run ads. Ads cost money. If you don't know how to run ads, you probably want to learn how to run ads. If you want to learn how to run ads, you're probably going to pay somebody to teach you or help you with it. And I use this example because it's a pretty simple one. It makes sense, right? I got to learn how to run ads so I can scale my business. I need to show more people what I'm selling or what I'm offering. And for that, I need to advertise. And also, at the same time, if I don't know what I'm doing, it makes sense that I would need some help. Well, let's say you spend $20,000, maybe $10,000 on ads and $10,000 on somebody to manage it. Maybe you go with an agency or something, right? Okay, great. Well, for most people, they think about that $20,000 and they say, no, I don't want to take that out of my business. That's not good. Oh, and also I need to stop doing what I'm currently doing and focus on this. And what I'm currently doing is growing and it's really looking good and I'm profitable and I don't have to give up all this money. And now I got to pay money every month for ads and my profit margin gets smaller. And maybe you resonate with this, maybe you don't. Depends how you run your business if you run a business. And it really depends on where your life is. But really, this applies to any area. If you right now in your relationship think, oh, we need to spend more time together, we need to spend more time together, we need to spend more time together, that's great, except if you have dysfunctional, weird habits and you're actually hurting each other, and the more time you spend, you're actually driving each other insane, and you're just clashing, and things aren't working. And the more you text, and the more you talk, and the more you see each other, and the more time you spend, the more you actually kind of don't like the person. That's bad. That's really bad. And if you are spending all this time in your business and running and running and running and going and going and going, and you're just stuck in a hamster wheel, that's also bad. Because even though you might say, oh yeah, I'll crush it, I'm doing great, and I'm growing, it might be that you're hitting a plateau, or even if you don't, eventually you probably will. And you need to change to a different and better strategy and a better approach. So the best thing to do, of course, one step back. One step back to just even take a look and say, is this really the best way that I can do this? Is there a better way for me to be doing this? Could I be happier, more fulfilled with a different route? Is there a way for me to make this better by just leaning back a little bit? Maybe I don't need to be intense and on and pushing and making it happen. Maybe I need to reflect. Maybe I just need to take some time to breathe and walk in nature. Very few of us do that now, because everything is go, 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 and everything is looking at all these people that are crushing it. And of course, it's a highlight reel constantly. So we're bombarded with that. We need to be creating a highlight reel. And this is just dysfunctional and crazy. And it doesn't actually work in the real world. Many companies that are very successful take on lots of debt. That's not sexy. That doesn't look good. That's debt. You owe money. And then you scale and you crush it. Or you fail, maybe even. So people are afraid of this, but this is what creates massive upside. See, if you're just chasing and chasing and chasing in your relationship, you're likely to drive that person away. But when you take a step back and you work on yourself and you get grounded and you feel good and you know who you are and you know your core values and you align that with the person, if they match, then you have a great time together. That's amazing. But if you're just clashing heads and trying to make it work like that and just battling through it, not always the best option. Not always the optimal way for you to move forward. So ask yourself, am I bashing my head against the wall? It's a legitimate question. Am I hitting a plateau? Am I maybe scaling and growing and doing something incredible in an area of my life, but it's going to hit a cap and I can see that limit and I can already foresee it because you're smart enough to? Could there be a way for me to just take a step back right now before I hit that and burn out, or before I hit that and I realize, oh wait, I should have done something different way back there? Maybe I can do that right now and already take care of the problem before it shows up. Who would have known? It's a real thing that us human beings have the ability to do, to predict the future based on patterns and based on what we're seeing. Maybe you've noticed that every time you go into a certain type of behavior, it causes pain in your life. Maybe if you take a step back from that behavior and you realize, could I do that differently? Or could I change that for something else? Then you implement it and it gets better. Amazing, right? Almost like magic, but it's not. It's vision. It's your ability to really step outside of your life situation and what's happening right now and recognize everything and become aware and notice what's happening. It's a huge breakthrough and a huge shift. Are you just caught up in first-person subjective view, just looking out of your own eyes constantly? Or can you look objectively and go, hey, what's going on here? Am I thinking correctly? Is this working? Does this get me to where I want to go? Does it make me happy? Does it make the people around me better off or worse off? How am I impacting my environment? Am I around the people that I want to be around? Right? It's scary. Scary thing to do for a lot of us. I know it was definitely scary for me many times. But it's necessary. And I want you to be happy and fulfilled and crushing it. And sometimes you got to ask that uncomfortable question. And maybe right now you're growing and things are great, and by all means, continue. But if this resonates at all, check in. Check in. Maybe save this video, add it to your playlist or something so you can look back later, a month from now, just check in. Am I on the right track? Can I see something coming? Now, I'm not saying obsess and get worried and, just bog yourself down with all this thoughts about what's going to go wrong in the future, but be honest and use logic and look at patterns and see what you've done before and compare. get advice from people, right? And then from there, from people that are qualified, right? Not just some random person who doesn't know how to help you, or somebody in your family that's not necessarily good at actually giving advice, but somebody who you know can really help. And then ask yourself, where's this going? And am I happy with that? Take that step back to take 1,000 steps forward. It's really what it comes down to. Use it in your life, apply it, try it out if it's the right time for you.